if people feared you on sight? Judged you just for looking older, tougher than the rest? What if everyone saw you as a monster? One who deserved nothing but their hate? So, would their hatred finally turn him into the monster they believe he is? Or would someone walk into his life and force him to believe in love again? The story opens with a look at a school, but it's a school divided. On one side, the prestigious girls' academy. On the other, the boys' high school. This is where we meet our main character, Rintaro. He's sitting in the back row, lost in thought, wondering what kind of world existed behind the drawn curtains of the school opposite. He also has another thought. I just wish everyone would stay away from me. Then we cut to a scene where two older lads are hassling some high school students. The three younger boys try to explain themselves. It wasn't our fault. You were the one who pushed us, on purpose. But the two bullies aren't listening. They get aggressive, sneering, apologize. It was your fault. They were all stunned. They were clearly younger, but they didn't want to apologize either. Then the older lads say, "Anyway, you're from Chidori High, right? There's a lad from your school. Blonde hair. He borrowed money from one of our mates and still hasn't paid him back. So now you're gonna pay it for him." They are all stunned. Are they talking about Rintaro? Speak of the devil. He was standing right behind them. With a deadpan expression and in a low voice, he says, "You got a problem? I heard you say my name." The two bullies bolt with their tails between their legs, as if they just stared death in the face. But the poor guy hadn't even done anything. He was genuinely just asking if they needed something from him. After they've gone, his friends say, "You were incredible. Whenever we use your name, people back off 100 feet. But Rintaro says, "Stop using my name like that. You shouldn't go around causing trouble for people." This annoys his friend. Usami snaps back. "What do you mean we're causing trouble? You're the one causing us trouble. Because they don't have the guts to fight you, they take all their anger out on us. And now you want us to stop even using your name?" But then he calms down. "All right, fine, forget it." Rintaro then tells him what happened the night before. "I'm not sure, but I think I saw a guy who just cheated on his girlfriend. Maybe he really did cheat, or maybe the girl just got the wrong end of the stick. Either way, I felt bad for him when she slapped him and walked off. Right or wrong, I don't know. I just went over to see if he was okay. At first, he was just upset, but when he saw me, he went pale, like he thought I was going to kill him. He just ran for it without a second glance." Usami says, "Don't take it personally. Anyone would have been scared in his position. Think about it. A dark, lonely night, and a guy who looks like you suddenly appears. I shouldn't say it, but we're your friends, so we know you're not a bad person deep down. But if I didn't know you, I'd be scared of you too." And he doesn't even argue. "Yeah, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have approached him." As they're leaving, they pass a group of girls from Kike Academy. They were laughing amongst themselves, but the moment they see the boys, their smiles vanish. And this wasn't just because of Rintaro. They were giving all the boys the same look. They start to walk past with their heads down. Then one of the girls drops her handkerchief. Usami picks it up and offers it to her. "You dropped it." The girl turns and says coolly, "Now that you've touched it, I don't want it back. You can just throw it away." And with that, the girls walk off. Usami tries to laugh it off. He says, "Guess they were just shy, overwhelmed by my good looks." But Rintaro is still thinking about it, that they still despise us. And why wouldn't they? They're the princesses of Kike Academy, and we're the delinquents of Chidori High. They have every reason to hate us. Rintaro's flaw was this. He always assumed everything was his fault. He'd take all the blame onto himself. And he knew that anyway, even if he wasn't at this school, those girls would never talk to him. Then we get some history on the two schools. Only girls from wealthy families attend Kike Private Academy, and they absolutely detest the boys from Chidori High. They look at them as if they were lower than their servants' servants. And you could see their point. Their servants probably wouldn't be caught dead in a school like this. Rintaro doesn't even think they're wrong for feeling that way, because this is a state school and it's full of wasters with no interest in their studies. Rintaro thinks to himself, Our schools are right opposite each other, but I've never once seen what their classrooms look like because they never open their curtains. It's as if we don't even deserve to look inside. The same thought begins to loop in his mind again about the world behind those curtains. Whatever, he thinks. When I graduate, I won't have to think about any of this anymore. Usami asks him, "Coming to karaoke later?" But he turns him down flat. "I'm a bit busy today." Usami teases him, "You got a girlfriend or something? Started blowing us off?" But Rintaro just tells him to shut it, because the truth was, he definitely did not have a girlfriend. In reality, the message was from his mom, asking him to come home early today to help out at his cake shop. Unfortunately, he's late, and it's raining so hard he has to run. He apologizes to his mom for being late. But there's one thing he still doesn't get. He says, "Why are you putting me on the counter right now? You know I'll probably just scare the customers away." His mom replies, "Don't worry. There's only one customer in the shop right now. Besides, it's pouring down outside, so no one else will be coming. If I could, I'd run the shop myself, but I have a huge order to prepare for tomorrow. So, sorry, but I really need your help." Poor guy. How could he say no to his mom? So he agrees. He's never told anyone at school that his family owns a cake shop, and he doesn't particularly like working here. He just hopes no one else comes in. But then, he spots a customer's umbrella by the door. He remembers his mom said there was still someone in the shop. So he peeks around to see who it is and if they need anything. And there, he sees a girl. She looked incredibly cute and innocent. She was eating a piece of cake with a look of pure bliss, as if she was in love with it. The moment she senses someone watching her, her face goes bright red. She gets so flustered that the cake gets stuck in her throat. Rintaro quickly rushes over with a glass of water. The girl apologizes to him. "I'm so sorry, that was my fault." He thinks to himself, how is this possible? This girl is so small and delicate, but she eats so much. I don't think I could eat that much. He assumes she must be in middle school. She looks far too young to be in high school. The girl grabs her bag, hides her face, and dashes out of the shop. Rintaro thinks, great, I scared her off. He tells his mom what happened. His mom says, that must have been Waguri. Waguri? He asks. You know her? How do you know her name? She's not just any customer. She comes in here several times a month. His shoulders slump. So she was a regular customer. His mom teases him. What's wrong? Suddenly thinking of making a move on my customers? He says, it's not like that. She just ran off the second I saw her. I feel bad that I've lost you a customer, and a regular one at that. And as usual, he starts blaming himself. I shouldn't have come to the shop. I mess everything up. But his mom isn't having it. She loves her son dearly. Stop blaming yourself for everything, she says. I know Waguri. She's not the kind of girl who judges people just based on their looks. And besides, if she has stopped coming, I'll just have to bake a cake so delicious she'll be forced to come back. But Rintaro can't get the girl out of his head. He thinks, she was so scared, and because of that, my mom lost business. I have to apologize to her, no matter what. But how am I going to do that? Right. I could go to all the local middle schools and look for her, and ask about her. But if I do that, what if they think I'm some creep harassing little girls? With my face, they'll definitely think I'm some kind of delinquent. So how do I apologize? Usami finds him again at school. He says, you look miles away. Let's go get some lunch. But as always, he just brushes him off. Usami thinks, he's our friend, but there's always been a wall between us. He never really opens up about anything. Later, Rintaro is at home quietly reading his manga. Suddenly, his mom bursts into his room. It's an emergency, she says. Waguri is here to see you. He can't believe it. She's here? She's here to see me? He goes downstairs and sees Waguri looking very nervous. She says, before I say anything, I want to treat you to something. She's offering to buy him a treat in his own family shop. He can't wrap his head around this. This girl is treating me? Does she think I'm a bully? That if she doesn't treat me, I'll start bothering her? But before his imagination could go wild, she apologizes to him. I wanted to give you this cake as an apology. He says, no, I can't take this. But then he notices her own mouth is watering. It seems she bought him the cake as a gift, but she's the one who really wants to eat it. He says, you should have the cake. It's my family shop. I can eat cake anytime. So you have it. She looks embarrassed, but cake was Waguri's weakness. She begins to eat it with obvious delight. You were thinking it yesterday, weren't you? How can a girl like me eat so much? She explains that she was alone in the shop yesterday. She was getting bored just sitting there, so she decided to just keep ordering more cake. That was the only reason she was eating so much. But she stops mid-sentence and says, I didn't even tell you my name. My name is Kaoruko Waguri. He tells her his name in return. My name is Rintaro Tsumugi. She repeats his name softly. Oh, that's your name. Rintaro. Rintaro doesn't understand why this girl is so interested in me. Why would anyone want to know about me? And Waguri whispers, finally, I found out your name. Rintaro asks, what do you mean, finally? Hearing this, she starts blushing. Waguri was meant to think that, not say it out loud. She quickly explains, oh, it's nothing like that. I just meant that I've seen you here before. You work here quite often, right? That's why I said, I finally learned your name. But she was clearly hiding something. Rintaro doesn't pick up on it. He just assumes she's telling the truth. But one thing was still bothering him. I've never seen you here before today. So, how have you seen me? And before he could finish that thought, another question pops into his head. Wait a minute. If you've seen me here before, why did you run away last night? I thought you ran because you were scared of me. She tries to explain, who told you that? I didn't run away because I was scared at all. Her face was completely red now. I get really shy when any boy watches me eat. Well, not anyone. You were the first person to ever watch me eat like that. And you saw how much I was eating. I could just die of embarrassment thinking about it. That's why I ran. Rintaro is completely lost. Why would she be shy around me? Usually, people are scared of me. And if they're not scared, they look at me like I'm something they scraped off their shoe. Especially girls. I've never had a girl in my life who would even look me in the eye. But this girl is strange. It becomes very awkward. He has zero experience talking to girls. Forget girls, he has no experience talking to anyone. He says, it's getting late. You should probably head home. Can I walk you to the station? But she declines. It's okay, I can get home. And can I take the cake? He's amazed at how much she loves cake. As she turns to go, he calls out after her. The station isn't far, he says, but be careful. She pauses, turning back with a small, knowing smile. Don't think I ran away because I was scared of you, she clarifies. That wasn't it at all. He could see in her guileless expression that she was telling the truth. What was he supposed to do with that? She walks away, but not unnoticed. Two boys are watching her from a distance. He retreats to his darkened room, grappling with a single confounding question. Why wasn't that girl afraid of him? His mind flashes back through a lifetime of fear. Since childhood, people have recoiled from him. No one has ever spoken to him with genuine kindness. But this girl? She was different. His thoughts are cut short when his mother enters. She holds up the cake he had given Waguri. I found this on the road, she says, her voice laced with concern. I don't think she's okay. His mother's fears are realized. The two boys have cornered Waguri on an empty street. Please let me go, she pleads, but they ignore her. Just then, Rintaro comes sprinting around the corner, desperate not to be too late. He scans the area frantically until he hears her voice. He spots her, trapped by the two boys. and starts to intervene but freezes when he hears their question. Was he your boyfriend? One of the boys demands. Wagori hesitantly denies it. I didn't think so, the other scoffs. You two are worlds apart, so spill it. What were you doing with a guy like that? A jolt of recognition hits Rintaro. They're the same two who were harassing his friends just yesterday. He stays hidden in the shadows, listening as their taunts continue. Do you have any idea what kind of person he is? One sneers. Have you even seen his face? And even if he weren't ugly, do you know where he goes to school? That place is a breeding ground for delinquents. Every word lands like a blow. As always, Rintaro turns the blame inward. He thinks they're right. I do go to a school like that. I have no right to be upset when people hate me for it. It's a familiar, crushing weight. His entire life, he's been the villain in everyone else's story, and he has learned to believe it. After all, who had ever stood up for him? But just as he's about to retreat into his self-loathing, he hears something he has never heard from anyone but his own mother. Wagori's voice cuts through the tension. Do you even know him? She challenges them. Do you? Have you ever actually spent time with him? Sat down and shared a pastry? If not, what gives you the right to call him a bad person? I have, and I suggest you do the same before passing judgment. You might discover he's a better person than you think. Her voice hardens. And if you're not interested, fine. But stop spreading rumors. You can't destroy someone's reputation based on nothing. Besides, if we're talking about bad people, what does that make you? Ganging up on a long girl this late at night? From where I'm standing, you're the worst people I've met all day. The bully's patience snaps. You're pretty, but you talk too much. He swings a heavy fist at her, but in a flash, Rintaro moves, intercepting the blow with his own body. He stumbles forward from the impact, blood suddenly trickling from his temple. The punch had landed squarely on his back, but in his haste, he'd slammed his head against a nearby wall. He glares at them, his eyes filled with a murderous calm. Are you finished? Just like before, they turn and flee, convinced this time he might have actually killed them. Waguri panics. Your head, you're bleeding. She rushes to his side, her apologies tumbling out. I'm so sorry, this is all my fault. It's nothing, he grunts. Their punch didn't do this. I ran into the wall. But she won't hear it. It's still because of me, she insists, her voice thick with guilt. Rintaro manages a weak, wry smile. If I knew you'd blame yourself this much, I would have just taken the punch instead of headbutting the wall. Waguri looks confused. But why didn't you just block it? His smile fades. This was my punishment, he says quietly. They were only after you because you were seen with me. A familiar, painful dynamic settles between them. She is convinced it is her fault. He, as always, absorbs all the blame. Gently, she dabs the blood from his wound with a handkerchief. I don't understand why anyone is afraid of you, she says softly, looking him in the eye. All I see is a kind person. Anyone would be lucky to be your friend. The words strike him with a force greater than any punch. No one had ever spoken to him that way. He was an expert in sniffing out lies, a necessary survival skill. But her sincerity was absolute. He finds himself wondering if people this pure truly existed. To him, in that moment, she seemed less like a person and more like an angel who had mistaken Earth for home. Rintaro walks her to the station. Take care, he says, turning to leave. Wait, she calls, stopping him. I'll come to your shop again. Can we talk then too? And next time, I promise I'll save you some cake. For Rintaro, it felt like a dream he never wanted to wake up from. He finally heads home, the promise echoing in his mind. Later, Waguri's on the phone. I'm fine, she says. I'll be home soon. The person on the other end is unseen, but as she speaks, her mind replays the moment Rintaro had pulled her into his arms, shielding her. She is lost in the memory of his protective embrace. The next day, Rintaro arrives at school exhausted. He hadn't slept at all. He suspected he wouldn't be sleeping well for the foreseeable future. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her smile. He shakes his head, trying to force the image away. I can't do this, he tells himself. He's a high school student, and she's in middle school. Given his already toxic reputation, entertaining any feelings for a girl that young was unthinkable. It was just wrong. He gazes across the way at the girls' school. the same old question surfacing in his mind. What is the world behind those curtains like? And then, for the first time ever, the curtains stir. As they part, he sees her. Waguri. His heart seizes in his chest. In a single panicked motion, he yanks his own school's curtains shut. What is she doing here? His mind races. I was so sure she was in middle school. She looks so young. Does that mean she's also a high schooler? And she goes to Kike High?